What episode is this? Episode 30. That's
30.
right. We'll call this the it's Solar Eclipse Eve. Everybody,
It is Solar Eclipse Eve.
Solar Eclipse Eve, and we continue our Sans Josh march of greatness with a new guest, Megan, the fangirl. And we will meet her in just a moment. But first, this week we have a movie news. This week on YouTube, the 411 on 1901 Marvel moments, because there's a couple shows. There's a couple shows we need to talk about, people. And we also have our community shout out, Megan from the Fangirl, which is super exciting. And she's going to join us and co-host the show with us and replace Josh. It is going to be great for everybody. To all who come to this happy place, welcome to the Disney Culture Club.
Poor Josh. He can never escape the roast, can he?
No. Never.
Yeah. Speaking of the eclipse, all you freaking
roasted.
tourists, get out of Nashville. Driving me insane.
Right? I know. They're saying, oh, it's going to come right through the South. Everybody should go there to see it. I'm like,
Yep.
no, I like my retinas, thanks.
Yeah. Nope. I have to work that day, and we're expecting thousands of people. It's
Oh,
gonna be
my
great.
goodness. Have fun.
Oh, yeah.
For our podcast listeners, the voice you recognize, of course, is Shannon, and the new voice is Megan, the fangirl. How's it going, Megan?
Yeah, hi everybody. Hi guys. I'm from the YouTube channel, The Fangirl. Do a lot of Disney theories and things like that. Coraline, Steven Universe, Over the Garden Wall, Rick and Morty, anything pop culture that I fangirl over, I probably have a theory or review or analysis of.
Over the Garden Wall is fantastic. Love Over the Garden Wall.
Yes. Now I've got my Over the Garden Wall necklace on today. Had to steal it out of my daughter's room, but
Now, have you learnt about the theory? Well, not the theories, but the connections between Gravity Falls and Rick and Morty.
I have. I've actually done sort of. I saw the one that the film theorist did, which
Yeah.
has got millions and millions of views, of course. And then I kind of had a little
Like the
bit of a
Moana
counter one. I have a little bit of a different take on it, where I think sort of Rick is perpetually drunk to keep Bill Cipher out of his mind because he made a deal too.
Oh, that's interesting. I feel like Rick is perpetually drunk because he's coping with the fact that he killed baby Morty. But
That's a good possibility too.
Never seen either one of these shows, and I'm just sitting here going, wow, okay.
one of my things,
Yeah, it's,
my big thing right now is that Rick replaced Rick went to a dimension that the Rick was gone in, and this is why we have the new Rick, and they had never seen this Rick, and that's why there's the photo of Birdman and Rick at Birdman's house with Rick holding baby Morty, and he's all happy.
That's a great connection.
And so for me, I feel like Rick lost his family, and so then he replaced them with this other dimensional one. That was it was like they're close. It was the Mortius Morty, right? So he was able to find the Mortius Morty. And what would the odds that the Rickiest Rick and the Mortius Morty would be in the same dimension? Didn't make sense.
Well, that's true. That's fair, but there's so many fun Rick and Morty theories. But for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's definitely not a safe show for kids. So don't turn your kids onto that show.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Basically.
Yeah. It's a rough one. We actually were watching Austin Powers the other day, and I was like, oh, there's a lot more sex jokes in this than I remember. But
Yeah, I haven't seen that since I was little. I think if I watched it now, I'd be like, "You
Giggling.
let me watch this movie."
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, and the proof is in the pudding, right? Like, your entire life isn't ruined and scarred because you watched Austin Powers. So, yeah. But you do have. I love that you do like adultier stuff, and you talk about kind of that's kind of your area where you talk about like I like other stuff than Disney, which is cool. You're a big Leica fan, which we're big Leica fans as well, and
Oh, good. Yeah, those are my most popular. All the Coraline theories.
Yeah. Well, because people don't really talk about it too much. I really do hope that Universal and Leica or Leica and somebody can really figure out a way to market it better and have more extra content and toys and multimedia and stuff like that, comic books, like really get them out there more. because
Well, I've heard
they
Leica is really the difficult one on that because they don't want anything to do with sequels. So even if there is demand, like Coraline was their biggest success, they will not touch it again.
Yeah, I get that. But if I'm them, I would just stick to my guns on that one because look at Pixar. Right.
That's true, but I mean, we have Cars 3 that just came out, Toy Story 3 coming out soon, so they kind of figure out how to give the fans what they want to, but not like smash it in the head with a rock with the quality.
That's interesting. That kind of opens up a can of worms, really, because I would say that every worst, like the worst ranked Pixar films are all sequels, and then you get the odd person who's like, I hated Brave,
right? It's like, well, actually,
Brave's a pretty good film.
I don't know. I would argue till my dying breath that Toy Story 2 was a lot better than 1, and that was just because it really fit. In most sequels, they come up with something that doesn't make any sense. It was just like, oh, here, let's make this story so it works. But no, this was like, you could see it, where he could have been this famous toy that lost its momentum, and I don't know. I fell in love with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do think Toy Story gets the better
kind of the
sequels.
Exception. Yeah.
Although
3's
with
the best.
the fourth
I actually
one
think
coming
3's
out,
the best one.
Yeah.
3,
I can't believe they're gonna crap on 3 though and make a 4th one, but
oh my gosh, I don't know, I can't. I couldn't handle 3. I was like sobbing a wreck, and I was like 25, leaving the theater, like tears running down my face.
Yeah, no, that was right in the feels.
Yeah, I'm terrified for The Incredibles too. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I feel like it's gonna start with Mr. Incredible's death, and I just can't handle that.
You love Doctor Who, and you're obviously a sci-fi fan.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you think about an Obi Wan Kenobi movie?
I think I never know how to categorize this, but I know I've heard some people say it's a leak, some people say it's a theory that Rey is a Kenobi. So I think that I think that really that movie has a lot of potential to make that into a reality and give us that story, and I hope that's where they go because I really like that idea.
Yeah, so you think that maybe the family reveal will be in a standalone film as opposed into the chaptered series?
I think it depends on how fast-paced they want to go with the next, like, number, what would it be, 10, 9, something like that?
Yeah, they said that
7, 8.
It'd come out after 9.
I lose count after a while. I was, like, they're all out of order for me anyways, the way that I saw them, but, yeah, if they want to go really fast-paced and hard-hitting and go with the main story, then the backstory needs to come and be filled in somewhere else. Because there's really a lot about Luke's childhood that we never knew before and things like that, how Leia grew up and all, I don't know, but at the same time, I wasn't really a big fan of Rogue One. It was like watching it and then everybody dies at the end and it's like, that was like 2.5 hours I could have spent doing something else.
It's like you may be emotionally invested for nothing.
Yes, I hate that.
Yeah, I do think that, because I am a huge fan of the Rey Kenobi theory, but they've been saying a lot of stuff about how Rey is going to really find out that, like, her past doesn't define her. Like, if she was, like, descendant from, like, you know, like a great Jedi Knight like Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's not going to affect her path and who she is. Like, that's what they're saying. She's going to find out that it's just doesn't matter as much. So I feel like they're not going to go there. Yeah, well, that's what they're saying. They're like they're trying to show that, like, lineage isn't going to affect what she's going to do. So I do feel like maybe that's them leaning away from that, but they could still, like, give us, like, a little something. Like, maybe she's, like, descendant from, like, Sabine or something from Clone Wars, if they want to even, like, bring that, like, all the way back around to kind of connect it with Obi-Wan. But
make her Mandalorian. I don't know. I think you have to explain why she has all of Anakin's Force abilities.
Yeah, the whole thing was kind of weird. Then Kylo Ren had this really kind of creepy vibe with Rey in that whole movie, and it's like, something's going on, but I don't really get what.
Well, my thing is that she's I guess technically Anakin Skywalker's sister, because they share the same father. That they were both they were both created with the Force. Because we never know who Darth Vader's or Anakin's dad is, right? And the only hint that we get to it is Palpatine talking to Anakin about how Master Darth Plagueis was able to create life using the Force. So, and then like stares at him like, "Who's your daddy?"
He's just like turns to him creepily, "Are you picking this up?
Are you picking what I'm dropping?" So I feel like Rey was an attempt to recreate Anakin in every sort of kind of essence. You know, if you will, Snoke is Disney. He's Iger just sitting there like, yes, we will recreate it. It will be perfect, but a girl.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Michael Eisner was a whole trip for all the sequels he poured out of Disney there. But yeah, this is why I stay away from Star Wars theories, because there is such a huge people analyzing it with microscopes and books for 20, 30 years, and it's crazy. I learned my lesson with Doctor Who. Really do your homework before you.
Oh, so you're not like me. You don't just jump in and say come on, haters, come at me. Yeah. That's what I do. Oh my gosh.
Well, I get a lot of haters. I have to be careful with that challenge.
True.
What is it like being a woman on the internet for you?
Oh my gosh, that's a really interesting question, because I always have so many people that are like, "Oh, you're a feminazi," or they throw the word feminist at me like it's a curse word. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, there's so much of what I say that I feel gets invalidated, or if Super Carlin Brothers or another big theorist says something different, they say, no, this is the fact, you're making it up. I really feel like I'm discounted. And even if I post something first, they'll still say you stole this from so-and-so. So yeah. And that's a large reason why very few of my videos show my face, is because when my face is seen, it's about my hair, my makeup, my eyes, my mole. And it's not about what I have to say.
That's very interesting.
I see that. Yeah.
That's, I hate that. It makes me really frustrated and disappointed, because every one of those I'm not going to give young boys a talking to again, but
yeah, because that happened on my Rey, or not my Rey theory, my Jyn and Cassian theory. Somebody's like, "Well, you're pretty, but your theory sucks." It's like, what does that have to do with my theory?
I love it when people get like that. Oh, thank you so much, but that was the most backhanded compliment I've ever gotten.
Right?
Yeah. Well, it's and actually it's funny because I noticed I was watching your videos. I was like, "Oh, she's never in any of her videos." But that's cool.
I'm a couple, but it's really rare.
Yeah, but the video essay style allows for it. It works. I'm sorry. The reason why I asked that question, I asked it of Sarah Snitch, and I'm asking it of you, and I try to ask it because I think it's important for us to keep talking about it and keep making people aware that. Sure, we get some haters sometimes, and Josh made this Moana theory. Film theorist comes up with it 3 weeks later, and everyone messages him about how he stole film theorists.
Yeah.
It's but the published date is right there.
Yeah, I've gotten that aggravation several times.
but what I want is that, because I think sometimes people chalk it up to well, everyone gets critiques, right? And again, we have a similar critique there, but I always want to point out that it always goes back to looks and critiquing of looks and attacking people, just on who they are visually, good or bad. And that happens to women so much more than it happens to men on the internet. And I just think it's important that we keep talking about it. So thank you for telling me that.
It's interesting how many.
That frustrates.
Yeah, well, it's interesting how many comments in a week I have to delete that say something like "Go back in the kitchen where you belong" or something. It's like, what? I can't even cook. Shut up.
Yeah. Well.
It's I'm here to make theories. It's what is your problem?
Exactly. I went to school for film studies. This is where I belong.
Yeah. Well, luckily, most of those people are busy doing rallies nowadays, so that's okay. So at least the negative comments have been... Yeah, YouTube's negative comments have just, plummeted recently because they're all busy doing rallies, so that's fine.
That's true. Yeah, they're all too busy, writing messages on our board in the museum at work that are basically a YouTube comment.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you telling me that all the white supremacists aren't internet trolls? Because, they're not... I don't think every internet troll is a white supremacist, but I can almost guarantee every white supremacist is an internet troll.
That would be an interesting theory to explore.
Yeah. It's I'm not saying that you're all white supremacists, but I am saying that all of the white supremacists are internet trolls.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a large majority of those terrible people being terrible everywhere.
There you go.
From white supremacy to Lion King.
Let's transition.
Just segue.
Mufasa and Scar aren't brothers, apparently. This is the biggest, weirdest news because, one, it makes me think, like, are they going to play that up in the live action, and that's why we're hearing about this now? You have a line in your film that says, like, brother, like, help me. But the writer says they were wrote it that what happens in a pride is sometimes another male lion, if he's less than, doesn't get completely destroyed. That the king of the lions sees a benefit to having a secondary male there, so he allows him to exist and doesn't kill him. And that's kind of what they saw the relationship as. And again, to translate it for all of us who are unable to see different relationships, they were like, brother. Do you think that changes anything for you in the film? And do you think that that will be explored more in the live action?
Personally, I'm not ready to accept that they're not brothers because, like you said, in the movie, they flat out say, well, brother. And then I remember the sequel came out when I was in middle schoolish age, and everybody was like, dude, like, Kiara married her cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
that's my thought.
Yeah, like they had several chances to address it, and they really don't. Mm-hmm. And so to do it now, if it's not for the sake of the live action, then I don't know why they would do it. But I also think that the live action movies are not, like, people think like the new Beauty and the Beast live action erases all the problems with the old one, but it's not, because in 30 years people are still going to be watching the animated version and probably not the live action version. So I don't think it really erases the problems with the original movie, but maybe they're hoping to kind of start the air out there to do that.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about what you just touched on there. I would agree with you. As much as I like Beauty and the Beast and I like the live action films, there is something a lot less timeless about them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
It would probably have to be because of the use of the overuse of CG and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like that's the thing about Star Wars is Star Wars is able to maintain its timelessness because of practical effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think in a couple of years we're like way down the road. We're still going to be watching all of the animated versions, but maybe the live actions, maybe not as much. But I don't understand this about like why they feel like they need to make Mufasa and Scar not brothers. Like what is the benefit of them being brothers versus them not being brothers? Like, what is it? Yeah. Why do they even need to say that?
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I kind of felt like it was like this, like not news, but I needed to talk about it because I thought it was strange. Annabelle did good. Mandy saw it.
Why?
Well, why? Because people love to be scared, but Annabelle too. Yeah, made 15.
Annabelle's not scary.
Being turned into a doll.
If you want to be scared, go watch Nocturnal Animals. It is not suitable for younger audiences or people that are triggered, but oh my god, was I terrified of that movie. So there you go. All
right. And The Hitman's Bodyguard made $21 million for people who like to know that information. So it was kind of a weird week. And it's weird that Annabelle wasn't number one, but that's weird. This week on YouTube, starring Shannon McCarter.
He's determined to weasel that in there every time.
Okay, so I don't know if you kids have heard about this, but there's this thing called lo-fi hip-hop, and they do live streaming on YouTube. It's really really interesting. It's really good for like studying or playing video games. It's really good kind of background music, and I'm obsessed with it. It's really like cool hip-hop beats and this like kind of lo-fi, almost like it's on like a phonogram. It's like really interesting, and it kind of just melts into the background, and I've been obsessed with it, and I wanted to share that with everybody because I think you should all check it out. So just go on YouTube and check out lo-fi hip-hop. If it's not for you,
that's cool. That's what you sent me, right?
Yes.
A couple of days ago. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. It's a lot like electro swing, but it's kind of chill.
That's something else I sent you.
Well, that's something else.
Yeah.
Well, it's why are you lying to me?
It kind of
Disney ones that were really weird.
Yeah, it kind of carried down. Is there other Disney live streaming like song ones?
Yeah, no, that's what. Yeah, when Shannon sent me the list, and I looked it up last night because I had no idea what that was. And yeah, there was something like they were playing like Chances Are, and they only got to Chances, and then they kept rewinding it and slowing it down, and it was all to like this old Mickey Mouse cartoon, and I'm like this is bizarre, but okay.
Yeah, interesting. The one I've been listening to, it has just like this girl like with headphones on, like studying, and she just like
I found that one.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah. So that's the one I'm obsessed with. Shannon, did we talked about it on a couple shows, but I think we missed really talking about
we
some
totally
trailers from Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just on YouTube and I just came across this Big Hero 6, the animated series trailer that we did not ever talk about or hear anything about or ever see. And it's the cutest thing ever. And I'm really excited.
I love the animation. I love it.
Yeah.
It looks great.
It looks
I do
so
have to admit,
awesome.
I saw the trailer for that, and I'm jealous that they didn't give the same animation type to DuckTales, because I feel like that really edgy, sharp, angular Flash animation just doesn't do the old DuckTales as much justice. I was like, man, Big Hero 6 looks really good.
Yeah, it's like Tangled, isn't it? It's like the same animation.
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
Tangled one.
A little bit, a little more angular, sharp, a little sharper edges, I would say, for sure. Like more anime leaning, but not really. Like,
yeah. Well, they're kind of, you can tell that they want to lean that way just because of the material that they're dealing with.
I wish they were a little braver to do it, though. I wish they kind of.
Oh yeah, like I wish they'd go for it.
It should have. Yeah, like there's no
awesome.
reason why they couldn't have made it more like shonen style. It would have fit perfectly with that, and that
that would have been interesting.
And that could have been their attempt to actually dive into that kind of world, because in my opinion, Disney should be buying up all of the Shonen Jump live action rights, and they want a Harry Potter, like, again, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, like those are all perfect sagas to be telling, and you can do whatever you want with the content once you buy it. So,
well, give them time. I think Disney's going to own the world before too long.
Yeah. Or before Iger steps down, at least. What are you? So are you? There's a couple things. There's a couple like cartoons that have come out. We're going to talk about them in our Marvel moment, but I'll pump it up just because it's who cares. Marvel Spider-Man also has come out, so they've rebooted the Spider-Man cartoon again. I think this is the 75th cartoon that's come out about Spider-Man. The cool thing about it, though, is that on the Disney XD channel, you have the Origins short story. So if you want to learn about Spider-Man's origin because you don't know what it is,
somehow
the short stories are on the YouTube channel. So that's cool. And the first 2 episodes of the series came out yesterday, and it is basically Peter Parker's accepted into a genius high school, which is very similar to Spider-Man Homecoming, and it's basically Spider-Man Homecoming the cartoon, more or less. And the animation style, again, I feel like a little more money could have been spent, but Spider-Man can get away with it because of the personality.
Well, I think with so many different Spider-Man cartoons over the years, you have to get really stylistic then, so that people know they're looking at a new show.
What's the different one?
Yeah, you gotta have the differences there.
Yeah,
that is really. I guess I understand that they're making this because they're riding on that Homecoming wave. Yeah. But I feel like the series that they had going on Disney XD was really popular.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man was great, but the Spider-Man series just need to end because they usually get into the Spider-Verse, and then there's all this stuff, and then like Miles Morales is like coming, and then you're like, okay, well, which story are we telling? And so like, reboot.
There you go.
It happens
well, the movies are really doing the same kind of thing too. You get 2 or 3 movies. And then they're like, oh man, this is a mess. Reboot.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Spider-Man, that's the thing. Like, they'll always keep trying to figure out how to do Spider-Man. But I feel like Homecoming really hit the nail on the head. I feel that is... I liked Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, but I don't think he was a very good Spider-Man. I think Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man, and not really Peter Parker at all. And then I feel like Tom Holland has been the perfect of like the closest we've ever had to perfect.
He is Spider-Man
on both sides. He is he's a slightly different type of Spider-Man. I think he is more of a Miles Morales in some ways, but that's okay. That's fine. Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, yeah. So, yeah, everyone check out Big Hero 6, the animated series. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it comes out in November. It's going to be really, really cool, I think.
Yeah. And Tangled had a bit of a hiatus, but has been back for a few weeks now.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I know. I need to catch up with that.
Yeah. And what else is out that I was watching? Oh, yes. The Defenders. We're going to just go full Marvel moment now because we're just talking about shows. Do you guys watch Daredevil? Do you watch Iron Fist or The Defenders?
I know you're not asking me.
Well, I've seen all of the Netflix Jessica Jones. I've been kind of iffy to go into Daredevil because I still remember that Ben Affleck abomination, where it's like, oh, I can see people because it's raining. What? I mean, that was bad for everybody. But I did start watching The Defenders. I'm halfway through the series now, and they're just starting to come together as a team. And I really like that Marvel's kind of working on these different scales. Like, you've got the Guardians of the Galaxy out in space, then you've got the Avengers taking care of Earth, and now you've got groups like the Defenders that are just kind of focused in one city or major area. Mm-hmm. So I really like that they've got the scaling for that.
And you feel connected to it even though you haven't seen Daredevil or Luke Cage?
You know, I really feel like well, I'm kind of like familiar with all the characters already. It's not like the shows or what would have taught me who they were, but I really feel like the Defenders has spent so much time of just them getting together that it's really caught you up for the most part of a lot of things if people just want to jump in there like I did.
Okay. No, that's good. That's perfect, right? Yeah, you don't have to watch the entire saga to get into the new show, so that's perfect, which is something I've been trying to teach Shannon, that you don't always have to watch the entire saga.
I mean, only sometimes. I mean, come on, Dale.
It's like, hey Shannon, you want to watch Goblet of Fire? Yeah,
no, we have to watch the first three first.
Yeah.
Then we'll watch Goblet of Fire.
Like, what?
How it works.
That's not how it works, actually.
How it works.
Yeah, The Defenders is actually coming out to pretty good reviews. I think, like, you get some people who are like, blah, or it takes too long, or whatever. I feel like people want them to be like, we're the Defenders, and then like they go out on missions all the time. Like, I think like that's what people want, but it'll never be like that because they come together to, just like the Avengers, to like stop something that's bigger than themselves. Like, they know they need help, so it's always kind of like a, one and done in a essence.
Well, and they're anti-heroes too, which a lot of people I find are not that familiar with that term. It's like they become the heroes, but they don't want to be the heroes.
Yes.
The reluctant heroes.
Yes, it's definitely Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are like, we want no part of this mess. And I don't know, I'm kind of iffy about if Iron Fist really wants in the middle of it. He seems to be a little gung-ho to start the trouble, though.
Yes, he's very headstrong, and Daredevil is Daredevil's the only one who wants to be a hero. Like, he's the opposite of an anti-hero. He is a hero in spite of everybody else, and I would really recommend that you watch the Daredevil show, because he just constantly sacrifices everything to be a hero.
I did notice him in the Defenders, and it was like, okay, he's a lot better than what I got used to with the whole Ben Affleck, Daredevil, Elektra, that whole awful mess from way back when.
Yeah, it was terrible. The director's cut is actually really good of that film. Well, better. There's like a whole storyline where Coolio, I know you don't think Coolio would make it better, but it does. And Matt Murdock, and they are going after Kingpin through that way as well. It was actually really cool, the director's cut. So if you're ever interested, check out the director's cut of that Daredevil movie. You'll be surprised.
I might pump myself up to give it a try.
Yeah, but you definitely should watch the Netflix Daredevil. That show knows what's going on. The 401 on 1901. The 401 on 1901 is a time where we like to pat ourselves on the back. Well, or just kind of tell our listeners and viewers what we're doing on the network, because there's so many things that we're doing. So we have a Slytherin blooper. So we did a real life Slytherin video where I don't know, some handsome guy was in Harry Potter world being a Slytherin and pretending to be a real jerk, but I kind of think people thought that he was being a real jerk. So we put some bloopers out there. Josh is concerned that people might think that I'm actually mean all the time, so I thought it would be nice to do some bloopers so people could see that see the
Canadian come out.
Yeah, see that I broke every time I was a jerk.
Yeah, it's like literally you could see where the cuts were because you immediately smiled and was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I did watch both of those, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I wonder if he told them in advance he was going to be like that. And then I saw the bloopers video. I was like, oh, okay. Like, okay, that was like my first impression of him. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
it's
basically. You're too good at it, Dale.
Yeah. It's called acting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just channel it from a really close place. No, it was so fun to do, and yeah, like some people I didn't tell, some people we did tell. It was fun working with Angie. There's actually like a really great scene that Josh didn't get. I don't know why, but he stopped recording right as the moment happens. We have there's this whole thing where like there's this build up, and I'm like gonna knock over Angie's water while we're sitting at the table, and we like set it up. And we're talking about it, and we go and we get it angled, and then Josh stops recording right when we're about to do it. So. That
would have been amazing too, because Angie's such a good, just little confused Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Well, and there's a clip where the waitress comes and she takes away my thing, and the whole thing was like I was supposed to say something or be really like rude to her, and I just like couldn't do it to a waitress. Like I like was like, oh, what am I supposed to say? Like, take my food, wench. Like, what am I then make her feel bad for the rest of the day? It's like. Nah. Thank you. Thanks for taking my food. Yeah. So, yeah, check out those bloopers. They're kind of fun. Josh has a video of history of Fantasyland. Again, he knows so much about Disneyland. He's so smart. But he does really appreciate it if he just says something a little bit incorrect. Make sure to comment down below on his videos to tell him what that incorrect thing was. It really helps him get better. And he really appreciates all the feedback. But he goes over how interesting Fantasyland.
I can just see it in your face.
He goes over how different Fantasyland actually is, and it's so good. If you've seen any of Josh's history of whatever videos, they're so informative, so good. He knows. I don't know very many people who knows much about Disneyland as Josh, so. Check those out, and if you haven't seen any of those videos, you should watch them because they're really good and informative. Modern Mouse Radio, Armchair Imagineers had No Midnight Podcast on to do some armchair imagineering. You need to check that out. Not only is it the most like professional Disney podcast out there, and you get to talk with Corey, hear Corey and stuff like that. Josh's Armchair Imagineers are always my favorite ones. I always want to be a part of one. I was supposed to be a part of that one, but I had to work. So. And
plus, Josh's idea is amazing, and I need it to happen. Like, I really liked his idea.
Yeah, it gets pretty depressing when you realize that it never will.
Yeah.
And animated Devils Chapter 2, From Victim to Villains. On this story, they talk about the fact that people go from victim to villains.
Wow, way to infer that from the title, Dale. Yeah, no, we're really into this series. Like, Josh and I really, really like it. And I'm actually, like, this one I put, like, a lot into because I really liked, we talk about Bellwether and, like, how she becomes what she is. But next week, like, Josh and I, we're going to talk about some things that might hit a little close to current events. We tried to stay out of it, but we're really excited for you to hear that one.
It's hard to stay out of the white supremacy thing. It's pretty hard to stay out of it. Like, I don't really know if we really like. I don't think it's something that you should stay out. I don't know. It's a real weird debate. Is it more powerful for everyone to ignore the white supremacists, or is it more powerful to go and protest like love against them? What?
Yeah, because there is no winning.
Here's the thing: at the end of the day, no one's going to be like, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be a white supremacist," and like put down their thing and like so. What are we trying to accomplish? And it's been I don't know. It's a really weird time. I thought it's weird that I felt like we dealt with this already. Like I felt like last time I checked,
it's like last time I read again.
Last time I read,
you would think it would be over by now, but
I think we went back in time.
I don't know. It's always a problem. It's always coming up, and it's so crazy. I don't even know how the president reacted was crazy. How I don't know, people driving into people, it's crazy. It's like, where are we now? This is not like how we're supposed to behave.
Yeah, we literally, it was like I was watching the news and I'm like, are we sure this is 2017? Are you not like showing something from a couple years ago?
Yeah, are we being punked?
I think so.
Well,
I hope so.
And like to talk about something where, it's one of those things like who cares? Like, who are you trying to defend by being like, well, there's people on both sides of, no, like, Nazis bad. Everyone other than Nazis better. Like,
Yeah, somebody tweeted, they're like, okay, so basically Lord Voldemort was this like crazy, like genocidal, like Death Eater and killed a lot of people and he hated, anybody that wasn't a pureblood and all that kind of stuff. But Harry Potter went to Hogsmeade without permission, so there's blame on both sides.
yeah. This is what I don't understand. Like, because I can see the white supremacists. I see them. And we now know they're all internet trolls. So, like, they must like Harry Potter. They must like Star Wars. They must like something Marvel. Like, do they not see it? Do they not see the problem? Like, I don't get it. Like, how? Like, I don't.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of them were like, Zootopia was a great movie, and it did not remind me of anything at all.
Exactly. Right. I know. Like, it's just so sad and frustrating, and I don't understand, and it's tiresome. Like, it's just tiresome. Yeah, so if you're thinking about being a white supremacist, don't.
That is the takeaway of the episode.
That's the takeaway of the episode. Don't be a white
Just
supremacist.
Don't.
Because everyone will be like, what are you doing?
That makes you an internet troll. You don't want to be that.
The only thing I want to talk about a bit too is just like again, being up in Canada, it's third party here, right? So, a few months ago when Trump was elected the president, I said that my biggest concern for America was the fact that everyone involved in America allowed fascism to be a successful campaign style for a president. And I said that I was worried that would make people feel confident and bold in their white supremacy, in their fascism, and you should never encourage fascism. And I'm not going to say I told you so. But I'm not going to say I told you so. But you can't allow that. You do not have to be tolerant of white supremacy and Nazis. There's freedom of speech. But when someone's freedom of speech is to take away the rights and freedoms of other people, it's not free speech anymore. They can't be protected to have free speech when they want to do worse to others. So, anyways, be really careful out there, people. Make sure to like support your friends, and like if you think that there's any situations brewing, I recommend to leave. Because people are gonna become more and more bold as they feel more and more cornered, and they're gonna feel more and more cornered. I can almost guarantee it. So,
and we Americans, we love our guns, so you never know who's packing.
Yeah. And it's not like there's like 250 militias just ready and armed with whatever training and ideals they have.
Yeah. I don't know what even happened in America. I know everybody was all pro Bernie Sanders, and then we got the election we got between a douche and a turd sandwich.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to say that.
You can say whatever. Yeah, that's fine, of course.
Okay. Well, and I mean, like the fact that at work in our morning meetings, we had to talk about what would happen if, like a terror attack happened downtown or on the property during the eclipse, like what we were supposed to do. Like we shouldn't have had to have that conversation, or at least not like how we did. No. So it's, know.
And again, I know there's been a lot of fear, and sometimes there's like, I think people, when they're afraid of terrorism, they associate it with Islam and stuff like that. And I think it's, again, important to understand that radicalism and terrorism is a problem, and that's it. Those two things are a problem, and we shouldn't, unless they're white supremacists, lump everybody into one group. White supremacists, you can do whatever you want. They're free range on white supremacists. You can say whatever you want. You can just do whatever you want. Because what are they going to say? Like, hey, that really hurt my feelings. I don't care.
That really hurt my feelings as a person. Yeah. It's like, you hurt my feelings.
Feelings for her. Yeah. Let me add that to my book of I don't care. So, anyways, again, we're on this show on Network 921. We're really about being inclusive, and that's why we talk about this type of stuff. And I know a lot of you. I've had conversations with you who were and are Trump supporters, and you've messaged me because of our conversations and stuff. But I want you to remember that people's lives aren't politics. And whether or not you're a Republican or a Democrat or you wanted Bernie Sanders, there are people's lives who are being affected. People are scared, and people are feeling hatred being spat towards them. And let's be there for everybody and make sure that we try to make sure everyone feels loved and safe. Megan, can you tell us a little bit more about your channel? It's so good. You're growing your subscribers here. 31,000 subscribers. Like, you must be so proud of that. That's a lot of hard work. You produce videos all the time. You have, like, all the time. Like, there's tons of videos here.
Yeah, I've got no set schedule. I just like, go at it.
Just whenever.
You have theories. You do Coraline. You do Steven Universe. You do so much. Why did you want to start making videos? What kind of drew you toward this? And talk about maybe like your style, like why kind of the video essay style.
Okay. Well, thank you for all the really nice compliments. I started this channel February 2016, and it was after I had seen something that Super Carlins did. I think it was about, like, where was Andy's dad? And I saw this whole angle that he didn't touch. And so I sat down and, like, wrote this paper while I was, like, probably 6 months pregnant at the time. And because, you know, as a student, that's what you do. You watch movies on films, and then you turn in these really lengthy analysis term papers. And I wrote this whole thing up, and I was like, I have nothing to do with this now. So I thought, you know, I mean, if he's on here talking, why can't I come on here talking? So I kind of went from there, and I started making notes, and originally I was Disney fangirl, but then Coraline came into the picture with like a billion new videos, and so I had to kind of adapt to not be just Disney anymore. But yeah, actually before that, like way back in 2009, I did a different channel, and it was always my face, always talking about whatever random thing came into my head. And it was just, it got so negative of, you look like this, or I don't agree with you, so you look like trash kind of stuff. And so I just eventually just walked away from it. Mm-hmm. And so I started fresh here, and I said, I don't want to do that same drama. Let me try it with using screenshots and not my face so often. And it's I mean, it's surprising. I've got 31,000 subscribers, like you said, since February 2016. So it's definitely working a lot better for me than just vlogging with my face.
Yeah, well, you know, like, first, it's terrible that you like felt you needed to do that type of change just to avoid people being mean to you. But
well, I'm lazy too. If that, like, I really hate,
no,
like,
but no,
hair and makeup.
No.
Like, I'm so lazy.
Hey, I get you. It makes sense, but it also, you know, through that adversity, you were pushed into a style that actually worked for you. And that's the thing, is that your style's working for you. How you get there, it was not really a positive way, but that adversity made you approach something in a different way. And, you know, you're proving all those people wrong, and in essence is that, you know, you didn't really let them totally take you down. You just revamped your approach, and you kind of tricked them.
Like,
well, people try to guess. Like, people who only see they never see any of the face vlogs I do for, like, the book reviews or anything. So they try to guess. Like, you sound like so-and-so from this channel. I was like, I have no idea who that is.
And so what kind of, where would you like to take your channel?
My gosh. I would like to get up there and challenge film theory at some point, but
yes.
I think that's probably a few years away.
Yeah.
Battle Matt Pat.
Yeah, he's got this whole team. Like, people are like, oh, I like what you have to say, but sometimes your videos aren't very interesting to watch, like film theory. And I'm like, he's got a whole team. Like, I don't. I'm new.
It's so hard. Like, if we all had just started this at, you know, in that earlier period.
Right.
Yeah, it is tough, you know, like, yeah, it's one of those things, you know, when I edit this, you know, the podcast of this does very well, but the YouTube video has its ups and downs, and you're like, it's tough to, you know, edit and spend all that time and tell your kids to wait for, you know, a handful of people sometimes, you know, or you get the neighbor kid just walking into your house whenever he wants, so
I definitely see that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times my kids are like, hey, can I come play Minecraft? And I'm like, I'm working. I've got to type out this very elaborate detail on DuckTales.
Yeah, no, it's true, but that's, the one thing, like, I try to include, like, I'll watch, like, the episode of DuckTales with the kids, so at least, like, we're all together, and they want to do more videos with us, but it's just kind of hard to wrangle everybody together, and then I get on this schedule where we do this, and then it's work, and then this, and then you're like, when do I fit in a new video or whatever, so...
when can we get part 2 of Jude's fidget spinner vlog?
Yeah, well, I actually haven't even really released that video. I guess I should.
It's
I know,
so cute.
I got to do more with those guys. They're funny. You could just basically too, like, there's FGTV and stuff like that that kids are super into, and they make about $1 million a month across all of their channels.
Oh.
Yeah.
That just makes you sick, doesn't it? Like, I just want to go throw up when I hear that.
But the thing is, it's like now you're competing against these people who have, again, teams of people editing and stuff like that. How do you compete, in a sense? How do you compete against that? What is your approach for trying to gain subscribers? Like, how are you trying to compete against that?
Obviously my initial video when I put it out that it was kind of a rebuttal to Super Carlin's video, I made sure to like put his title of his vlogs and stuff in the descriptions and the tags and try to really like draw the traffic in, and that worked really well on those videos because I did one with the I think Fangirl, where Frozen and Tangled are related. I did that and tagged film theory in it, and that one did pretty well. And it kind of comes back and slaps you in the face too, because then when you have an original idea, people are like, oh, well, who'd you steal this from? Or you're just trying to be a hanger-oner to these people. But I think with my topics, they're from my original blog where it was just whatever I wanted to talk about this day. These are really focused on things that people are interested in already. So it's not, oh, here's my day, here's what I bought for Black Friday. It's like, hey, let's talk about Beauty and the Beast. Hey, let's talk about how Brave could have been a better movie, and is Mulan a princess, and stuff like that.
Yeah. No,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love it. And you and Shannon have a collab. Is that true?
Yes, right. I'm really excited. I actually did do it to where my face is in it, her face is in it. It's my first theory with my face in it. So I'm really excited to do it. It comes off like a really good conversation, I think. It flows really well. It's different. It's fun for my channel. It's not like, oh, well, I think this. Because I know people can tell I'm reading off the script when I'm doing things. And I'll get in the middle of a word recording and have to edit in the middle of it.
Oh, the struggle. Yeah,
this is going to be really different, and it's really fun because I loved Shannon's theory so much. I knew I was never going to make anything better because when I know I'm going to do something popular, I try to glance around and make sure nobody's done it yet.
Yeah.
And so when I thought of connecting Peter Pan with Princess and the Frog, I said, this is too obvious. Somebody has done this. And hers was the only video I found, and it was so good. I was like, I have to see if she'll do this with me.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, and it was super, super fun to do. And like I didn't want to read the questions until I sat down to record it because I wanted to just answer them without like really thinking about it. And I sent it to you, and I'm like, this is probably like a mess and doesn't make sense. I hope you can edit it together.
It really made me feel better because I could hear when you were reading it, like if you laughed, I was like, okay, good, she gets me. Like, thank God she gets me.
It's like I got the joke.
Oh, I'm super excited to see that theory come out.
Yeah, that'll be cool. August 26th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Wow, you know exactly.
Yes,
cool.
I've got that one scheduled.
That's sweet. So make sure everyone to go and subscribe to the Fangirl YouTube page. There's a ton of content there. You'll be on here for days just burning through content. It's so good and super interesting, and I'm really excited to see that theory. Hey, if you ever need someone to do a theory with, I've been known to craft some theories in my day.
Okay, awesome.
And no big deal theories.
Oh yeah, no big deal or
just
anything.
Completely change the landscape of Star Wars. But whatever, that is what.
That's it. I need you for Star Wars so that when the haters turn on me, it's not just me alone out there.
Like, it was him. Yeah. He said it.
Well, two of my biggest moments in my life are one when I met Jacksepticeye. And
Oh my
when Chris Hardwick commented on Reddit, commented on my Star Wars theory, I was like, oh my
neat.
God, Chris Hardwick saw something I did.
Oh, wow.
And then I go back and watch that video, and I'm like, oh my God, Chris Hardwick saw something I did.
It's like cringe.
I can't stand to watch my stuff either because I'm like, oh my God, I hear where I edited every part, or
Oh, yeah.
or I
Oh,
said
of
it
course.
500 times to where like oh my God, I hate listening to myself.
Oh yeah.
You know what, though? I'm starting to notice that people don't see all the things that we see when we watch our old edited videos. I'm doing one of
Fingers crossed.
Josh and I's day at Disney, and I'm very excited for that video because then people can actually see that we love each other.
The jailness.
And yeah, you see stuff and you take an edit and you're like, like I can tell, like right at that moment, I did something, like I have a weird face or whatever. Like I can almost see the beginning of my stupid face I made, but people don't notice that stuff. And the ones that do, again, they're busy right now, so we don't have to really worry about them. They're busy.
That's right. They have other things to worry
they
about.
have important business meetings outdoors right now.
Yep.
Confirmed fact.
This is now canon.
Yeah. Well, here, that's the thing. I wonder if like someone's like about to like troll, and they're like, "Oh well, crap. Now I'm saying I'm a white supremacist. Oh no."
Yeah. It's basically like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we just need to have this posted everywhere. If you're trolling, you're a white supremacist. That's all. That's
And then you like go to like say, "Hey, not all trolls are white supremacists."
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like what? Or like internet trolls gonna like be like, "Hey, it's not fair to lump us all in together. You guys got to be more sensitive to our feelings." It's like you're trolls.
Like,
we don't care about you.
You're trolling us. Like, come on.
Dash likes to be a troll. That's the scary thing. So make sure your kids don't be trolls. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been awesome. Are you on the social medias?
I am. I'm on Instagram at Say Halo Goodbye, Twitter at _Fanily, Fanelly with an N, not like fam. And then Facebook, I think, is again Say Halo Goodbye.
Cool. And all the links will be on the YouTubes and on the in the show notes in the iTunes and stuff. And while you're on iTunes, please leave a review for the show. We really appreciate it. It means the world to us. Share the show with a friend and make the community a little bit bigger. People need a safe place to love their things nowadays, apparently. So give them a place to love their stuff and let them join us here at Network 1901. I'm at Dale Wentland or at Network 1901. She's at McCarter Shannon and also at Network 1901. There's also at DCC_1901 as well. People continuously just join that, even though I really don't do anything on it. But,
yeah, I'm actually locked out of it. So.
Oh, you are? Well,
yeah, I am.
The password is that password we use. So.
I know. I just I'm very busy, Dale.
I know. So am I. That's okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show.
Thank you, for having me. This has been the most fun I've had in forever. I never get asked to do other shows.
Really? Well. You're welcome anytime, and again, I'm sure everyone involved would love to continue to work with you. It's I love your channel. You have just the best disposition. So nice, so sweet, and
you're too nice. I'm gonna cry now.
And if you ever want to do more collabs, me, Dale, Josh, any of us, we'd love to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely get with you guys in the next couple months as I kind of get through all my scheduled videos.
There you go.
Well, this has been episode 30 of the DCZ, and we will see you in a galaxy far, far away. Bye, double hand wave.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay.
Yay, success.
Success.
I hope white supremacists don't come after me now. They shouldn't. They can't. I fit the model. We're like.
It's true. You are a Slytherin.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a Slytherin. I'm a white German guy. It's fine. They can't come after me.
You're like, I got all my bases covered.
Got my bases covered.